Unit 1, Fundamentals of Computers. So first, father of computer. Who invented computer? The name of the inventor is Charles Babbage. He is considered to be the father of computer for his invention and the concept of analytical engine in the year 1837. The analytical engine contained an arithmetic logic unit, basic flow control, and integrated memory, which led to the development of first general purpose computer concept. Introduction to computers. What is meant by computer like that? Computers are seen everywhere around us in all spheres of life, in the field of education, research, travel, and tourism, weather forecasting, social networking, e-commerce, etc. Computers have now become an indispensable part of our lives. Computers have revolutionized our lives with their accuracy and speed of performing a job. It is truly remarkable. Today, no organization can function without a computer. Of course, we can't even generate a bill without a computer. So, computer is one of part and parcel of our life. In fact, various organizations have become paperless. Transactions have been made. For example, any bank statements can be taken at any time without use of a paper. You can always get e-transaction statements anywhere, anytime. A simple calculating device. Computers have evolved over many years from a simple calculating device. Initially, the computers were being used for calculating operations, and now it is moved to a portable computer like laptop, palm top, even your smartphone can act as your computer. The growth of computer industry started with the need of performing fast calculations. For fast calculations, the computer industry has developed much farther than they expected. A manual method of computing was slow and prone to errors. Manual method can give errors. So, attempts were made to develop fast calculating devices. The journey started from the first known calculating device, abacus. To calculate very fast, abacus is which has led us today to an extremely high-speed calculating devices. Generations of computers. Important 5 more questions. Generation of computer. Growth in computer industry is determined by development in technology. Based on various stages of development, computers can be categorized into different generations. In this syllabus, we will be seeing about 6 generations. First generation. Time period for first generation is 1940 to 1956. Main components used here is vacuum tubes. What are its merits and demerits? Vacuum tubes are bigger in size, consume more power, malfunction due to overheat. Machine's language was used. Machine language is zeros and ones. And then first generation computers, example, ENIAC, EDVAC, UNIVAC. Okay, it rated around 27 tens and it consumed about 150 watts per. Next, second generation. The time period is 1956 to 1964. Now we are going to introduce transistors in it. Smaller compared to first generation. Very, it's a positive one. Generated less heat. It is also a positive one. Advantage. Consumed less power compared to the first generation. Common point is compared to previous generations, these three will be common. Smaller in size, generation of heat is low, less power consumption. Punch records were used. Punch records were used. First operating system was developed batch processing and multi-programming operating system, machine language as well as assembly languages used. Next one is third generation. Time period of this is 1964 to 1971. Here, Integrated circuits have been used, which are smaller and more reliable, consume less power, high level language were used. Fourth generation, here is a game changer. We can say it as a game changer. Microprocessor. Today we are using microprocessor of i7. Intel i7 is used in for Windows and it has been AMD processor can also be used. Time period for this 1971 to 1980. Very large scale integrated circuits were used. Smaller and faster microcomputer series such as IBM, Apple were developed. Portable computers were introduced. Next one is fifth generation 1982 till date. Ultra large scale integration, automation, parallel processing, superconductors, computer sizes drastically reduced like laptop, PalmTop, can recognize images and graphics, introduction to artificial intelligence and expert systems able to solve high complex problems including decision making and logical reasoning. A robot can act according to our instruction. Next, sixth generation in future. Parallel and distributed computing. Computer have become smaller, faster and smarter. Development of robotics, natural language processing, development of voice recognition software. Many of you can go through this do you know topic. Sixth generation computing. In sixth generation, computers could be defined as era of intelligent computers based on artificial intelligence network. This is a very important one. It may be the future. Artificial neural networks. One of the most dramatic change in the sixth generation will be explosive growth of wide area network and natural language processing. It can predict what the basic human language and gives answers according to it. Is a component of artificial intelligence. It provides the ability to develop the computer program to understand human language. Next, data information. Data. We all know that what a computer is. It is an electronic device that processes the input according to the set of instructions provided to it and gives a desired output. Important 2 mark question. What is a computer? At a very fast rate. Computers are very versatile as they do a lot of different tasks such as storing data, weather forecasting, booking airlines, railway or movie tickets, and even play games. Data. Data is defined as an unprocessed collection of raw facts suitable for communication, interpretation, and processing. Example, it's an address. Now 134, 16, Kavita, C are data. This will not give any meaningful information. 134 is a number, 16 is also a number, Kavita is a name, C is a alphabet. It doesn't give any information. Information is a collection of facts from which conclusions can be drawn. For in simple words, we can say data is a raw fact that is processed. Data is a keyword like that, and information is a collection of keywords with proper information. For example, Kavita is a 16-year-old. This information is about Kavita and conveys some meaning. This conversion of data into information is called data processing. Input is given by the user. That input is processed by the computer and it generates an output. The computer is an electronic device that takes raw data as an input from the user and processes it under control of set of instructions and produces a result and saves it for the future use. Next, components of computer. The components is the combination of hardware and software. Hardware is a physical component of a computer like motherboard. Hardware means motherboard, memory device, monitor, keyboard, etc. While software is a set of instructions or programs, both hardware and software together make a computer system to function. Every task in a computer follows input, process, output cycle. First, you are going to give an input, then you're going to process that input, and you'll get an output. It needs certain inputs, process that input, and produces the desired output. The input unit takes the input unit takes input. Central processing unit does the processing of data. Output unit produces the output. The memory unit holds the data and instruction during the processing. So input unit, output unit. The blue color arrow mark indicates that user gives the input, and red color arrow mark indicates that after getting the input it is being processed. It's a data flow path. Data is uh, moving from input unit to main memory. From main memory it moves to secondary storage. It can also move to internal arithmetic and logical unit and then gives the result as an output. So first we are going to see about input unit. This is important 5 mark question. Components of a computer is an important 5 mark question. Input used is used Input unit is used to feed any form of data to the computer, which can be stored in the memory unit for further processing like keyboard, mouse, etc. CPU. Where is CPU? This are collectively called as central processing unit. The major component which interprets and executes software instructions. It also controls the operation of all other components such as memory, input and output units. It accepts binary data as input, processes the data according to the instruction and provides the result. The CPU has three components: control unit, arithmetic and logic unit, and memory unit. Control unit, arithmetic and logic unit, memory. These three are called as CPU, central processing unit. Arithmetic and logical units. From the name itself, you can understand arithmetic means mathematical operation. AL is a part of CPU where its computing functions are performed. AL perform arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and logical operations. The result of this operation is stored in internal memory of CPU. The logical operations of ALU promote the decision-making ability of a computer. Next, control unit. The control unit controls the flow of data between CPU, memory, and I/O devices. Output unit is any hardware component. Output unit is any hardware component that conveys information to the user. Conveys information to the user to understand. Memory unit. Two types of memory unit: primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory is used to temporarily store the programs and data when the instructions are ready. Secondary memory is used to store the data permanently. Primary means temporary storage, secondary means permanently data can be stored. The primary memory is volatile, that is content lost when power supply is switched off. The RAM is an example for main memory. Secondary memory is non-volatile, that is, the content is available even after the power supply is switched off. Example: hard disk, CD-ROM, DVD are examples of secondary memory. Input and output devices. This we have seen already in last class. Keyboard is an input, keyboard, mouse, uh, scanner, fingerprint scanner, trackball, retinal scanner, light pen, optical character reader, barcode reader, voice input system, digital camera, touch screen, gear. These are the things we call it as an input device. Output device: monitor, printer, plotter, printer. In printer we are having impact printer, non-impact printer. Impact printer or dot matrix printer, line matrix printer. Non-impact printer or laser printers, inkjet printers, Deskjet printers, speakers, multimedia projectors. These are called as output devices. Already we have seen, that's why I have skipped this content and it is easy to understand. So next one is booting of a computer. How we are going to boot a computer? An operating system is a basic software that makes a computer to work. When a computer is switched on, there is no information in its RAM. At the same time, in ROM, the pre-written program called post will be executed. On switching on the button in the CPU, the first operation that is run by the computer is power on self test. This program checks if devices like RAM, keyboard are connected properly and ready to operate. If these devices are ready, then BIOS basic input output system gets executed. This process is called booting. This one is important 2 mark question or 3 mark question. Thereafter, a program called Bootstrap Loader transfers OS from hard disk into the main memory. There are two types of booting: cold booting and warm booting. Cold booting, when the system starts from initial state, it is switched on. We call it as booting or hard booting. When the user presses the power button, the instructions are read from the ROM to initiate the booting process. Cold booting or hard booting, warm booting. When the system restarts, when the reset button is pressed, we call it warm booting or soft booting. Cold booting or hard booting, warm booting or soft booting. The system does not start from initial state and go, so all diagnostics need not be carried out in this case. These are chances of data loss and system damage as the data might not have been stored properly.